8 by 6 feet.
8 by 6 feet.
Yeah.
Yes, 8 by 6 feet, right?
8 by 6 feet.
You need your wonderful
I think it'd be better if he hits it with a club instead of a broomstick, because if I'm holding that thing on a stick and he's using a broomstick, he could hit me in the face. But this is a short-range attack rifle. You know what I mean?
And what are we doing?
We're gonna play pinata for Ted's 30th birthday party.
38th.
38th. Oh, you know, I didn't want us to be honest, and I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying, you know. Ted's name is all over it. This side is the antagonist side, and it's all balls. Lots of little balls and penises all over it.
Wow, you guys really went on all out, thanks.
Where'd you find that Jack? I want that.
Here you go, Jack.
Jack Daniels. Oh yeah. Get all my stuff again.
My name is Ted Riederer. I am an antagonist. Groups like the Antagonists are important because the entire world around us does not want art to be made. The entire world around us is constricting. It's preventing us from being creative. The world around us wants us to buy commodities. The world around us wants to believe in certain ideologies. And those people that think outside of those lines, there's no room. So groups like the Antagonist movement promote, support, antagonize people to be creative. And so that's very essential in the world today. I have a problem with art movements calling themselves movements because I feel like movement is like a historical designation that's awarded like after the fact. I don't think a group of people who like work together and do shows can call themselves a movement. That is like, it's impossible. A movement is something that like sweeps across the countryside and people throw down their garden hose and pick up like, you know, clubs. That's what a movement is. At the same time, here we are in Providence. We've been to Berlin. We're spreading our ideology of art. Maybe it's spreading. So maybe it's a movement. I don't know. But that's my big issue.
I am Brent Birnbaum, 30, from Dallas, Texas. And there's content behind that. And the whole thing is actually based on Vanilla Ice and how beautiful and overwhelmingly tacky he is. So this sculpture that is hidden back here behind the crates is the centerpiece. The title of the piece is Ninja Please Wannabes. So the bees actually light up and there's lights behind each of these. And this part here spins and there's blades on here that are actually very sharp. So the whole thing is just how he just lives on. You know, he was in the media a few weeks ago for beating his wife for the second time and got arrested. And no one's ever gonna forget Vanilla Ice. This ninja here is actually my appropriation of the Antagonist movement's logo. So when I started making this piece, I was looking for just ninja icons in general. And I asked Ted for a stack of stickers, and he gave me these. So this part, it's these fake blades here for the throwing star. So the ninja on there, and then each ninja has been updated with Vanilla Ice's signature hair, which he is most known for. So they're popping out there. This here probably the best example of the nice wave that he had going.
I first heard about the Antagonist art movement via Arturo Vega. He took me to a show at Niagara Bar, and it was a lot of fun. I met a couple of cool cats like Juan Bettencourt and Ted Riederer. It was a good scene. I liked it. I also kind of wanted to get my paintings involved, but it took about 1.5 years before I gained the courage to ask for a show. All right, well, the Antagonist art movement is important to me because it's an outlet, a creative outlet. Inspires you to do work, gets you in shows, gets you involved with stuff. I mean, it takes like a lot of these shows to come up with something real. For me, I look at it as like a critique group, if you will. Like, there's a certain set of painters that I like, There's a certain set of artists that I really like, and I kind of want to hear what they say, and I want them to be pretty much exposed to their work, and I get exposed to their work at the same time. Throughout history, painters have had these little groups that they've been into. The Impressionists had their own thing, and I'm not saying we're like the fucking Impressionists. It's important to get some feedback, to have a group of peers, to collaborate with like-minded people.
Anytime I see myself on camera explaining my artwork, I want to punch myself in the fucking neck. I sound like such an idiot. You gotta really be feeling yourself to sit there and talk about your own stuff that much. You sound like an egomaniac. So I'll just let everybody interpret it as they want. I think the fact that underground art is becoming more popular is great because more people are seeing it, more people are being exposed to it. I mean, I don't think any underground artist, you're underground just by virtue of your circumstance. I mean, I don't think anybody desires for their work to stay, you know, completely unseen. So it's encouraging that more people are into it and checking it out. If I had one criticism of these movements, I guess, you know, I would say it's a good and a bad thing, especially with the Antagonist movement. It's like we encourage everybody, we encourage anyone we know who does art to be a part of it. So the bad part is sometimes you end up with people that you really don't want around, but you didn't know that initially. But the good side is that sometimes you end up meeting, you know, great and amazing people, which happens more often than not. Crispy Tizzle Jameson Waters III. It's my Christian name. Irish Christian.
I started showing with the Antagonist movement about, I don't know, 2 years ago, and it was a lot of fun. You guys, the Antagonist movement was very welcoming to me. After I showed in New York City, I came home and realized that we didn't have much of this here, art slams and stuff. And I started doing art slams at a friend of mine's bar, and they went over really well. And then we did live paintings for a while there, and it went really well. And I was having trouble actually getting gallery shows here because the galleries in Providence, there's a lot of them, but they're kind of hard to get into, and there's not really a lot of call for underground artists anymore. I really wanted to return the favor to the Antagonist movement for being so good to me. And, you know, hopefully after tonight, you know, things go really well. Maybe people down here will see what the Antagonist movement does, and it'll be a good maybe connection for Providence artists to get together with New York City artists. And like you said, the community will get a little bigger, and you know, there'll be open doors for people. That's usually how it starts.
Well, personally, I mean, I wouldn't get a chance to see a lot of art if it wasn't for the Antagonist movement. You know, it's like you work a lot in New York and you can't really go anywhere, and you know, I rarely make it uptown to see a show, but if I mean, it's just rare. So, but brought into the movement, and there's shows every Thursday, and it's, you know, it's great. You get to see a lot of up and coming artists. The problem with underground art is it doesn't stay underground because everybody wants to make a buck.
Yeah, I'm one of the writers from the Antagonist movement. I'm going to read one of the stories that's in Ethan's Psycho Moto zine.
And I like that it's a movement. I like that there's some kind of community, because, you know, the whole thing about being an artist or a writer or a photographer, you always feel so alone, you know?
How did I hear about the Antagonist movement? From just hanging out at Niagara. I don't think there are any groups like the Antagonist movement, at least in New York. The Antagonist movement is New York's counterculture. There is no other counterculture left in New York, and I have, you know, witnesses.
My name is Nicholas Brooks. I'm an artist.
How would you describe your art?
Interested in either glorifying or some sort of romanticism of criminal culture, or like their secret knowledge. That's about it.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Ortiz. I am an Antagonist artist since 2002.
All set? And please introduce yourself.
Jason Baylor-Lash.
Well, that's different. In general?
I'm originally from Iowa. The work I'm doing right now is based on family heritage and the passing of information from one generation to the next. Mm-hmm. So I find objects that relate to the specific individuals, and the piece that I've chose for this show is trophies. And you can find a dissection point between an individual and a specific moment when the trophy was sort of given up, and the idea of this dissection from when it was important to somebody and when it was gone and why it's been given up. It's one of those items where you go into a thrift store and if you find like a trophy, you don't give someone a first place trophy that's used. You give them a new one. So the trophy is one of those objects that's just dead after it's been given up the first time. My criticism of like artists in general is that when we're in a market like New York and we're trying to produce, we produce for the market instead of producing for ourselves, and it's hard to figure out as an artist where you need to be within your own work before you figure out where you need to be within the market.
My name is Un Lee, and I'm an artist. I'm an Antagonist artist. I was living in LA. I heard about the Antagonist movement when I was actually visiting New York from LA. I went to a bar and like one of the zines was like passed down to me, and I looked through it and I loved it, and like there was like overload of information, but I kind of like fell in love with it and the whole idea behind the Antagonist movement. So I became a member.
Our antagonists are important because they are driven, they're doing their own thing outside the mainstream. Definitely helps with other creative communities just to have different things thriving at the same time.